That was Tony Braxton, Love Me Some Him. So over the course of the last few days, we're talking about a 6-year-old in the state of Virginia who shot a teacher. Now, through subsequent news releases, we're hearing that the parent may be charged. But the laws in Virginia make it relatively hard to do so. When you look at the fact that in 2020, the number one cause of death in the United States of America for children from 1 to 19 years old was firearms. It isn't car accidents. It isn't illness. It isn't cancer. It isn't heart attacks. It is firearms. And we're the only country, only westernized country where this phenomenon exists. It doesn't exist in Sweden or Canada or England, anywhere else. Nowhere else in the modern world is the number one cause of death for our children firearms. Now, it's interesting because it took over fatalities, car fatalities. In the United States of America, there are about 284 million automobiles. America, on average, 93% of Americans have access to a car. So their cars are everywhere. There are roads, bridges. There are, drunk drivers. There are all kinds of people, brakes. But even that doesn't take more lives. Even all those potential incidences don't take more lives from Americans' children than guns at all. And when we noticed that there were things happening as far as child safety were concerned, look at all the things that we've done in terms of car seats and seat belts and speed limits and stop signs and speed bumps and anti-taxing laws. Cancer became a problem, and all of a sudden you had organizations like St. Jude who were determined to defeat childhood cancer. That is their stated mission. Because when we saw that something was a danger to our children, it motivated change and action. But thousands of children died from firearms and nothing happened. Even this 6-year-old. A 6-year-old having access to a weapon like that, and not even just having access to that weapon, but knowing how to load it and use it in anger tells us a lot about our society. And then not having laws to deal with a situation like that. In Virginia, they don't know if they're going to be able to charge, because everything is set up so people can have unfettered access to guns. More Americans have been killed by Americans than died in all the wars we've ever fought. So ISIS has nothing on us. We have decided there is not one discernible thing that America leads the world. It doesn't lead the world in cost of living, infant mortality, life expectancy, education. It doesn't lead it in the life of the mother. Doesn't lead it in healthcare. Doesn't lead it in the environment. The only thing that we lead the world in, one of the things that we lead the world is that our children die at the hands of guns, and we are comfortable doing it. A child shall lead them where? To the mortuary? What is it that we're trying to do? When you have given up and accepted the fact that the best of you, your future, is at risk and you do nothing about it, that says everything you are as a country. A child? We know that our children are dying in preventable ways and we've decided to do nothing. We've decided that this is an acceptable risk. If the children are our future, then so is Kevlar. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show. Or a specific fact, and you can Google it. Information is all around us. Now, how we access, whether we choose to access that information, what we do with that information, debatable. But the fact that it exists, and exists in a very convenient, at our fingertips kind of way, almost makes it impossible to not know something you really want to know. If you really want to know something, generally the information is all around us. It's a finger click away. Words to a song, recipes, specific facts. We're inundated with information all around us. And that is why I place a lot of the onus of what is happening in Long Island and John Santos on the people around him. His constituents, all they had to do, if they really wanted to know if it was true, is hit Google. That's all they had to do. It's way better than Ask Jeeves. That went out a long time ago. You can ask Google and it will tell you almost anything. There's no excuse for someone to hire a police officer who's been fired before, because all you have to do is Google. Like when you go into a job, interview, you best believe they are accessing the information you give them. They're Googling you. I don't know how many times somebody's walked up to me on a plane, didn't know who I was. Is this you? You can take a picture and ask Google who this is, and the information is all around. That is why the onus is on the people who didn't want to know. They didn't want to know that Santa, almost virtually every fact of his life is a lie. All of them. Where he went to school, his achievements, the sports teams, where his mother died, how she died, his businesses. Now we're finding out that he was in a drag show in Brazil. But all of that information was at your fingertips. You decided you didn't want to know. Anytime somebody hires a cop that was fired for some level of malfeasance, and they get hired in a municipality 10 miles away, they didn't want to know. We have access to information. It is all around us. The only reason you do not know something is because you decided you didn't want to. Trust but verify. I don't know how many times you hear a woman out with men, he'll say something, she will Google him, get his information. Does he have any kids? How much money he makes? Is this his real last name? Ever been to jail? It is our desire to know things. It is how we stop from getting duped. But it's attributed to Mark Twain. I don't know that it's specific to him or not, but there's an old saying that fooling someone is easier than convincing them they were fooled. The paramount thing is that no one wanted to know. They wanted that house seat so bad, it's a swing distance. They didn't care what he said. Now, a certain amount of lies would have been okay. But this dude wins the grand prize for lying. Nothing about him is true. Not a thing. Not where he grew up, not where he worked, not where he went to school, not what team he played for, not his parents. They was a drag show. Like he's a total fabrication. And all people had to do to find out if that was true or not is hit Google. All they had to do to find out if the man they were voting for, the man they were entrusting with their district, the wishes of their district, all they had to do was hit a button. All they really had to do was want to know. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.